Hey guys, this is Thea from That Sweet Tea Life, and thank you for joining me at Up Close and Personal and Painting with Thea. I am sitting here with this pretty little French provincial piece. At this stage, we have worked our way into the rustic glam look by doing the cleaning, doing the priming with the shellac, as well as the crumb coat. The crumb coat was simply taking our deep turquoise. On your screen, it may come across a little bit more blue than in real life, just so you know. I feel like in real life, this is it's a deep, real turquoise color. Says the Deep Turquoise by Wise Owl. And we just did a very, very minimal, sloppy, basic crumb coat all over the whole thing. This is just supposed to start introducing the color and give us some grip so that we can start adding layers and blending those pigments on there. So right now I'm going to be working with the Deep Turquoise again. I've also got Anchor, A-N-C-H-O-R. Actually, that might make it a little bit easier. I don't always have those, but this time I do. And then, just so you know, with the one finish that we are mimicking, I did pull in a little bit of lightness at the top by incorporating some Snow Owl. That again is by Wise Owl. It's just a bright white that I kind of have on hand just to add a little bit of extra dimension. So I may incorporate that this time. That way we can keep more of a dark, moving to light feel on the whole thing. I've got my favorite paintbrush. I've got a couple of other small little detail brushes just in case I need them to lay a couple of like little pieces of paint someplace. And then of course I've got my water bottle. This guy is key to being able to make this finish work. So right now in the rustic glam look, basically we're just blending. That's all there is to it. We're trying to get full-ish coverage. It doesn't matter if you have some bare spots. That kind of lends itself into the rustic look, but for the most part, we're going for a rather full coverage across the whole thing. I'm going to take a look and see. There might be one viewer. If you're there, say hey. I know in these groups, chances are I won't see you guys, so I'll just be doing the work and talking, but I would love to answer any questions that you have. So post them now, post them later, post them in the group, post them in the video. I'm just happy to try and help you in whatever way I can. So I'm going to turn this guy around and I'll get started. As you can see, I was successful. I got my dining room area. That's what this is supposed to be, the dining room area. I got it cleaned up. So I'm able to use it today, thankfully, because it was already raining as of like 8 o'clock this morning. So there was no hope for being outside, which stinks because I've got this really cool desk out there that I'm also wanting to work on, but I don't want to drag that bad boy inside. I really, really don't. Typically, and just so you know, with the Wise Owl paints, humidity isn't a huge factor. You don't have to be as careful as you do with some of the other paints. Sometimes it'll just stop it from drying completely, so just be aware of that. So I could have continued to work a lot longer than I wanted to, but before it would start dragging or anything. So I've got this side. As you can see, the crumb coat is on there in a lot of places. You can see the wood tones coming through. Let's see. I would love to get it to the point that you don't see any glare. Hey Liz, it's good to see you. Is it evening there? You have to let me know. I think it is. Let's see. Are you South Africa or are you Australia? Because we also have another member that just joined today that I believe is in Australia. So y'all are kind of closer to the same time frame. I don't know. I try. I can't comprehend these things. It's bizarre to me. So I'm going to grab my Deep Turquoise. Some of you may have seen the first blending video that I did. Don't go too literal. I found that a lot of people were really taking it to the extreme in the way that I did it. And they did the outside, and then they made the big egg in the middle. And it's beautiful, But the point is that you're simply introducing different colors and then blending them through so that you can see the transitions in color and stuff. You can use it to add darkness to the edges or to accentuate curves. Use it however you want to. But yeah, don't worry about literally taking every movement exactly as I've done it. The big keys here are keeping a very moist surface, as well as just being able to move your brush consistently, no drag. That's going to be the main things that you want to focus on. It's daytime there. See, it's morning here. It's just so, I don't know, it's so weird to me. So I am going to take my water bottle. A lot of times the kids will pick it up and make it stream for whatever reason. I can't imagine why. So I always have to check it. So I'm going to just moisten the surface. Now, it's had a decent amount of time to dry between yesterday and today, which is what I wanted. So for the most part, my paint is going to stay put. It's not going to want to pull away, and that's exactly what you want. If it pulls away some, it's fine. And to be honest, sometimes I even prefer it because it gives a little bit of a wet distress action, which to me looks so much more natural than a lot of the distress work that we do. So don't stress. Okay, and then I'm going to take a little bit of my deep turquoise. Again, I've got my little plate. Just kind of helps me to keep moving a little bit easier. I don't like dipping my brush inside the bucket or inside the paint can. Just not my thing. I allowed my brush to dry out yesterday. It's really not that big of a deal, guys. It's fine. So I'm just trying to give a little bit more flexibility. But I knew that I wanted to have a nice clean brush today, so I cleaned it really well and then let it set out. Okay, so I'm going to start with introducing some of the turquoise in the middle. I've got a little bit of chunks in there. So bear with me as you see me pull them out. They must have been on the cap and I didn't see them. And something that's beautiful about using the water as you're going is just how smooth the finish ends up being, because the water allows it to constantly just kind of melt into the surface instead of just sitting on top. So it gives it even more self-leveling action, which is exactly what we want a lot of the times. For the most part, I feel like we don't like the brush strokes. So it helps to get away from those nasty things. Good, okay, I think I've gotten rid of most of the glare so you can actually see what's going on. I'm gonna add some down here to the bottom. And I guess it's kind of similar to doing the crumb coat. The difference is doing this crumb coat, it's actually gonna stick. Bear with me. My son is ready to be picked up from school, but he's gonna have to wait a little while. I told him 12 o'clock, they've got exams today. And I know, they've been sitting quiet in those classes for, gosh, a week or two now, because everybody's doing exams and you have to be so quiet while everybody else takes their exam. So I thought he was going to be done around 12 today. I guess he's done a little bit early. All right, so I've got most of my deep turquoise down. And so now we're just going to keep building. I do feel like it's starting to drag a little bit, so I'm going to add a little bit of water. Now, somebody asked me yesterday, why did I stop spraying? And the answer is, as you continue to add water, you're going to find that your brush ends up holding on to some of it. So you really don't need to spray until you start to feel that drag. See, right now everything's moving really nice and fluid. So now I'm going to pick up the same brush. You can use a different brush if you want to, totally up to you. Same brush, I'm going to pick up the anchor. I'm also going to go over here and grab this brush, just a little artist brush. I meant to grab the deep turquoise and I grabbed the anchor instead, and just lay a little bit in there. All right, so now I've got my anchor, and I'm going to start. These are those little furniture dollies that you'll hear people talking about sometimes. A lot of people ask me about them. I love those things. They save me so much. And see, from here, it's fluid. You could just drag it up if you want to and have that really cool just transition. If I flip my brush over, this side is more deep turquoise, and I can kind of pull it back down. But there's so much that you can do. Like, you don't never have to stick with, doing exactly what you see. I'm hoping that you guys are trying different colors, and yeah, enjoying the process, being creative with it. But see, this is what having it wet allows me to do. Let's see if I can kind of give you you see how it's like, can you see that line right there? How I drug it across. Because it's nice and wet and moist, I just brush it through. And I have like a hazy set of blue right there that adds a little bit of interest. That's what keeping it moist does. It allows you to continue to be able to play and have fun with the colors. So now it's really just a matter of taking the anchor and laying it in and doing what I want to with it. Continuing to kind of blend it through. Something that is going to give you a more natural transition is, let me see if I can show you very literally. For instance, I can take the anchor and brush it through right here. You can see a very distinct line, but then if I begin to pull it in the other direction, perpendicular, you begin to soften that line and cause more of a blur or a haze. So then I'll go back and forth again, and then I'll pull up. And as you continue to work in different directions, you can see it all just kind of feathers out and becomes a much more natural look. Now, I have seen where others do techniques, I don't know if you would call it blending or whatever you would call it, but you can see a lot of the layers of colors in there, and I absolutely love it. To be honest, I feel like I have a problem achieving that. I think part of it has to do with, like, the OCD type stuff. Maybe one day I'll get there. I need to take some classes. I'm hoping to continue learning and taking classes so that I can bring more information to you guys. As a matter of fact, I'm supposed to be doing the flowers by Watercolor Lily or something. I don't know. This and that and Vintage Tide Decor are doing a class. They're putting a membership group together. And one of their first teachers is going to be somebody that does like the magnolia flowers. So I'm really excited to see how that goes. Let's see, yeah, you can see it really well. You can see I'm bringing in extra shading in the crevices. I kind of just feel like that gives it a little bit of a natural kind of look. Not that blue and teal are all that natural. But it makes sense to me. I feel like there should be shadows in those little areas, so I run with that. So I'm gonna lay some more over here. Use the corners of the brush to kind of put it in and then drag it out. And then just begin to, I'll pull it and drag it. I will say it's coming a little bit more pastel than I prefer, especially compared to the last piece that I did in this look. And more than likely, I'm not going to stay in this pastel kind of area. The deep turquoise is super pretty. I love it. But I want a deep, rich kind of look. So now is a matter of continuing to kind of blend in more of the anchor, A-N-C-H-O-R. I noticed on one of the videos that it sounds like I'm saying anger, like I'm mad. I apologize. Nope, anchor. That's why I showed you all the colors, the names of the colors in the bottles. And see, I pulled it up, feather it through. Pull it up. So you want to pull in the direction that you're trying to pull it, to introduce it to, and then you feather it through. Unless you want the striations. If you want the striations, keep them. That's fine. I can feel it's starting to drag a little bit, so in a second I'm going to take some more water and spray it on there. And see what, something you'll notice too, depending on the kind of paint you use, not all paints will necessarily do this. That is one reason that I love the Wise Owl paint, and it makes it easier for me to teach with it. It will reconstitute. So if this area is dry, I can spray it and it'll continue to go. That's the difference between dry and cure. Once it's cured, it's there, you're not touching it, it's not moving. But if it's just dry, like dry to the touch, then you're going to be able to just spray it with water, reconstitute it, and go again. Keep on adding the anchor in there until I'm happy with how saturated it is. Maybe am I still there? Maybe Liz. Somebody might still be there. I don't do notifications, and maybe I should. I don't know. I could put y'all on a chat bot to where I can send you a notification. But to be honest, I don't want y'all to stress out about trying to get here at a specific time. If you stress out about it, I stress out about it. And to be honest, we have to be flexible with each other, you know? I want to be flexible with y'all, and I pray that you're also flexible with me. All right. How is that looking? I think it's looking good. I'm going to put some more of the anchor right over here. I'm going to bring that back up again and deepen that. Now, like kind of playing with the texture that begins to build as it does begin to dry and you continue to brush it, you can start building texture and just different dimension, feathering some dry brush type action on it. I hope I don't make a mistake, but I'm going to take a tiny bit of white. Is this the brush that I want? No, I think I'm going to use this one. Make sure it's moist at the top. I'm going to take a little bit of white and just kind of press it in. And drag it down. And I'll be sure once this dries to be able to post some pictures so you can see how it looks. But as you can see, like I said, the whole thing is just keeping it moving. Keeping it fluid. I'm going to spray my brush. If you get overspray on there whenever you don't want to move anything, then it can tend to have this speckled kind of effect if you hit it with a brush, which I would kind of like to perfect because I think it's kind of cool. It reminds me of like the ostrich leather covering. What is it? Ostrich? Yeah, ostrich stuff. It has like the speckled look to it. There we go. And y'all probably can only see a little bit of that. But I just like the way it looks, especially whenever we come back later with the darker wash color, the black wash. I think it looks really pretty up against the white. I'm gonna get in here and pretty much solidly paint the legs. Out of here. Just on the inside. And paint over here. So make sure you don't forget them. Okay, I'm going to take this brush because we've got these little tiny little nooks and crannies, and I don't want them to be forgotten about in the shuffle. So I'm going to just lay some paint in there using the artist brush. And what's cool about this is what I could do, and what will probably naturally happen because I can't, this brush isn't going to get in there. So I'll lay it with the artist brush. But then as I come back through with the different colors, you just continue to brush over it, and then it really defines that line. You don't have to worry about making a perfect line. It kind of makes it for you. Very cool. Okay, so using my little wheelies, I'm going to turn her around so that you can start to see the front. And like I said, whenever I take pictures, I think you'll see more of the blended transition. Right now, while it's wet, you're fighting the glare and all that good stuff, or bad stuff. Let's see if I can. There we go. And so you can see. All right. So now, again, we're working with the canvas. Gotta keep those in mind. Figure out where you want to lay stuff. We're gonna start with just introducing the deep turquoise. I'm gonna take my spray bottle. I hope I don't sound too echoey. I was in here the other day doing something, and I realized I sounded very much like I was in a tunnel. So I apologize if that's the case. Let's move it over a little bit. Now, I've sprayed it down. And at this point, I'm just taking the brush and working the water all the way through it, making sure that everything's decently moist. Not saturated, not soaking, we just misted it. You don't want pools of water just hanging out all over the place. You just want it to be kind of taking in a decent little watery barrier. It kind of just sits on top of the paint from yesterday. And so now, okay. Are there 2 viewers? We're moving up, guys. I'm kidding. I know, it's difficult in here. Most of you are not going to watch it live at all, so I hope you don't get caught up in trying to. Don't worry about that. Worry about catching the replay. Worry about putting all the pieces together. Once, everything is up, that's the good stuff. Worry about being able to go back and look at things once you have your piece in front of you and you want to execute. Like I said, right now what we're doing is we've got a moist surface to work with, and we're just beginning to introduce the true base coat, which is the deep turquoise. So if you've used different colors, this is going to be your medium tone, one of your lighter colors. If you're working with 3 colors, because we talked about you could do like a deep tone, a medium tone, and a light tone. This is going to be the medium, not the light. Keep the light so that you can work with them later. If anything, I guess this would be my light tone. So you don't want to start with that. You want to start somewhere in the medium area so that you have areas of contrast with the dark and the light. I'm not overly concerned about this wired area. I have plans. I actually kind of like it being painted. It gives it that patina kind of look. So that's fine for me. And with this coat, we're kind of working our way over to the full coverage. We talked yesterday or in the last video about not worrying about full coverage, and that was that first coat. Now we kind of want to head that direction. It's fine if we have some bare spots, but for the most part, we want to see paint, not wood. So you lay it and you brush it through. And for this, I'm not taking the drawers out at all. Again, I want my canvas intact. I want to see how it's all coming together as I'm painting. And of course, you could take them out if you really want to. And maybe especially depending on what kind of paint you're using. I don't have to worry about taking them out with this kind of paint. So I don't. But I've seen some do like the blending and such with, they take the drawers out and do a very specific blend and look on each of the drawers. So if you're going for that style, it totally makes sense. I can feel it starting to dry, so I'm gonna spray. And if I can, guys, I'm actually gonna go ahead and do the gold leafing today too. So hopefully, not in this video. I'm gonna keep the videos separate. That way they're easier to access in little chunks. But if I'm honest, it took teaching a class in person for me to realize I could literally take one of these pieces and finish an entire piece in 3 hours. Not 3 weeks, not 3 months, 3 hours. I don't think I really realized that until I did the class and I was put on the spot to paint for 3 hours. So it can go a lot faster than sometimes we think it can. Okay, and I have rather full coverage. Add that on there. I will more than likely come and play with these curves later, so I'm not too concerned about them right this second. Now that I've got the deep turquoise all the way around, I start adding in some of the anchor, the deep navy blue, deep color. Looks like I need to add some to my plate. And what I love doing, what I love about doing with the blending and using multiple colors, even if it's the most subtle difference, it just gives so much more dimension to the single tone of paint that you're using. Even if you literally just take one color and paint over another color, it completely transforms it. I just think that's really, really cool. I'm gonna bring some over here. Yep, I left the hinges on. I can go back and just clean off the paint later if I want to. We'll see. I may work them and get them to kind of distress themselves and then work in some of the gold leaf to glam them up a little. We'll see. A lot of it just kind of comes with working the process. See, I kind of like up here inside the grooves, the deep turquoise is on there, and then I'm almost doing this dry brush type of action with the anchor, which allows the deep turquoise to continue to peek through. I kind of like that. So I'm not going to blend that too much. I'm going to kind of let that continue to happen. Work on this little piece, add a little break in there. Remember, this whole thing, this whole front is a canvas. Don't look at each little piece necessarily. You can look at the whole thing for the whole look. Again, I'm just dragging that deep color all the way through. Trying to get my hands super parallel and horizontal with this drawer. I kind of like the little striations that end up coming with it. They make me happy. And I hope you're able to see. Let me see if I can turn it some more and get rid of some of that glare. Glare is my enemy, guys. Seriously, it really is. Okay, so where it's super bright right here and super bright right there, keep in mind that's glare, that's not the color itself. Sometimes it's hard to see the actual dimensions in the color because we get caught up in seeing what we see. Okay. So again, I'm introducing the dark color into the corners and crevices and then just kind of feathering it through. Add some more darkness to the bottom. Remember over here, I really want it nice and rich and dark at the bottom. And it's only going to be so dark, depending on the color that you're using. That's fine. Don't forget, we're also going to be going over everything with the wash. That's going to give it a different color. So if you're doing a dark wash, it's going to give that deep dark area even more darkness. I like how we've got this wave of lightness right here. Y'all forgive me, I have no technical terms. We have lightness and darkness. I'm gonna go in here. And again, we've kind of got the deep turquoise peeking in there. I'm kind of fanning the anchor over it. I am, however, going to take the anchor and once again, I'm going to lay it in there. Up here, the ridges are very shallow, so I don't have to worry about it. There we go. Okay, and then just come across. Okay, and this is going to be a good area. More than likely, that's going to end up being distressed. If you're unsure about where to distress, think about where you're naturally going to hit it. Like over time, where are you going to stump your toe? That's a great area to go ahead and distress. And then what's beautiful about it is if it further distresses over time, you have no idea when it happened. And if it came that way, or maybe you caused it. Less people get in trouble. I'm kind of loving this. Okay, how does it look on there? I'll feather that through right here. It looks a little bit boxy, but part of that is just your angle. Let's see, once again, I'm going to take a little bit of the white. And really right here, I just have it on that tippy top part of the brush. And I'm going to do something, I don't know. I don't think I want it up here. I think I just want it in this area. Do that. I'm gonna wet the brush a little bit. I don't want to wet this because I don't want to alter what's on there. Once you get it looking the way you do, don't worry about spraying it. If you really want to have a wet surface to work with in a certain area, wet the brush. That way you have a little bit more control. You don't want to fight yourself. There we go. Kind of like that. Lay it in there and drag it down some. Just to kind of, again, I don't want like a white line. I want to kind of bring it down and then blend it through. Ah, that's pretty. And yeah, on the screen, it might look a little bit literal right here, like it's a line. In real life, just so you know, there's a rather elegant transition. And now I'm gonna play a little bit and just kind of take some of the white and drag it. Just to play. Okay, I think I'm digging it. Okay, over here, I need to probably give some attention. I've been trying to stay out of your way. So I'm gonna add some more anchor. Continue to work it. I have some of that white on my brush, so I've got to work it through. Add the anchor into this little area. Make sure it's got coverage. Make sure the underside of this leg has got good coverage. You don't want it to be forgotten about, which is easy to do. Okay. Once again, can you all see that? Spray in the brush, grab some anchor, and pull it through over here. All right, and now how about we go ahead and turn this guy around. If you do, like I was saying, you know, I could actually turn out this piece in 3 hours, not 3 months. That was an interesting thing for me to come across. If you really want to do that, if you really want to achieve a full finish in one day and not have the paint pull up, something that you can do is once you get this crumb coat on there, get your hair dryer or a heat gun and just go over it really good. Make sure it's super duper duper dry. Give it a little bit. That helps as well. So I'm going to make sure it's nice and moist. Drag my brush across. Spread the love. Good. Make sure I'm not missing anybody. That would be sad. But I'm pretty sure everybody is working and doing their thing. I can't wait for you guys to tune in and start working on your own pieces. I need to see them. I finally got to see a piece that one of the participants in my live class, like in real person, she did after taking the class, and I was kind of jealous. Like, it was beautiful. It was this deep red piece, and she took some black and kind of feathered it in the different areas and gave it an antique look, and it was really, really, really pretty. She grunged it up kind of perfectly. What are we doing? Okay. I'm gonna add some more deep turquoise. Okay. And then once I finish this side, I'm gonna go ahead and let you guys go. I'm probably gonna go ahead and finish the top off air. Let this dry, go pick up a kid or two, and I'll try to come back and do some of the gold liquid leafing and show you how that works. I haven't had much distress happening while I'm painting. That's good, it's fine. Sometimes I do and I enjoy it. If I want to, I can work more right now and make it happen. So I may do that in a second, but maybe not. I don't know. So thank y'all for being so patient and awesome. I really appreciate it. That's what allows me to continue to do all of this. Whenever y'all are able to be patient, I don't feel so stressed out. Because I promise you, I put more stress on myself than you guys ever will. But if I feel stressed out by you guys, I don't handle stress very well. Kind of just want to go in the fetal position, and I love working, and I will work myself crazy. I just want pressure. How about that? Pressure. How's it looking? I'm going to turn it a little bit so you can see without the glare. Okay. And this is basically full coverage with the deep turquoise. Let me get this light over here, because as you can see, I haven't gotten it yet. And don't expect that it's going to be like completely opaque. I mean, if I'm looking at it right now, yeah, it's pretty darn teal. But if you're doing it and you kind of see some of the wood grain coming through, don't worry about it. It's fine. And once again, that kind of just lends itself to the rustic glam kind of look. You want the worn to come through too, not just the perfect and pretty. I'm gonna go ahead and take my brush and see what's nice about keeping that nice and moist surface is like you can continue to work instead of just laying paint and it goes this far and then it's like done because it's so dry and just kind of grabs up. You can work it. Okay. I'm gonna grab get the curve. Good. Can y'all see that? I hope I'm not in your way. All right. Now that we've got that all on there, I'm going to add a little bit more water. It's not dry, but it's thinking about it. Okay. And now, back again with my anchor. Lay it in here. And just continue to blend it through. Lay it in and drag it up. Now, something I will say is I do recommend trying to at least get, an entire side done at one time. Don't come back to it. You may fight yourself a little bit or find yourself just going ahead and laying an entirely new base coat. Because it's kind of hard to get that movement back maybe. But other than that, feel free to do little pieces at a time as you're able to. Don't over stress. I'm going to add some more anchor to my plate. See? You can see it all beginning to, again, we've got the lightness in the middle and more of the dark crevices on the outside. Make sure you don't end up with the egg. Don't want the egg. It's fine if you really love the egg, but that's not what we're aiming for. How about that? I just want depth. Depth of color, variations of color. Just anything other than a flat color, right? We want to make it look like we did a little bit more than just slap some paint on there. I'm going here. I haven't painted this back leg yet, at least not with a full coverage. Let's go ahead and do that. Unless I did that already. Maybe I did that already. Add some more blue. Make it a little bit darker. I have some of the paint pulling away. I love it. Oh, here we go. I haven't done this area yet. All right. Play with this some. And there you go. Can you see that? And what you see on the screen is fairly true to what I've got happening here. You've got the blue and the crevices, and it kind of fades out into the more bright color in the middle. Once again, I'm going to wet my brush. I'm going to grab a little bit of that white, just that tip, remember. Just the tip. I'll lay it in. And drag it down some. It's not a huge deal, but I just like the way it looks and the way it plays with the black whenever I add the black in. So play with stuff. Don't be scared to play with stuff and see how you like it. Don't get frustrated. It's just paint. You can fix it, you can repaint it. Especially with these paints, heck, if I really wanted to, I could like wipe most of this away right now if I needed to. Give a nice smooth surface to start all over again. All right, guys. What you thinking? Give it to me in the comments here. If it's about this, I would say, you know, go ahead and comment here. And see, I'm able to completely grab this leg over here because it's completely dry. If you have got questions about your own project, please make a whole new post. That way you can put all the pictures together and we can really see what's going on. And see, this is, gosh, yeah, that's dry. Sweet. I don't have my brush bucket over here, so I can't plop them in the water. I was thinking about, yeah, I'll do that. So I'm going to take this down and I'm going to finish the top by myself. And then this afternoon, what I would like to do is come back and talk to you about distress as well as the gold. That's going to be the next step. We got the paint on here, we're blending and having fun, adding some colors, making it look beautiful and bold and crazy. Later today, or the next video, will be the gold and the distress. So I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.